Almost 2 years ago, I took my friend Victoria for her first flight, and although my camera game was on point, my audio recorder suffered a failure during the flight, rendering the video ultimately useless. I had my heart set on showing you guys how to use vertical navigation profiles in your flying. So now, almost 2 years later, the lost episode of the Friendly Skies. I want to answer two really common questions I get on my channel in this video, so here we go. There comes a time in every flight that you guys may be familiar with when I say something like, and we're coming up on top of descent right now. And whether it's you guys or one of my passengers, somebody always thinks to ask later, how do you know the exact point in the sky to begin your descent? It's a neat little trick, and sometimes I like my passengers to think it's all part of the magic of being a pilot. But it's actually not that hard. In larger, more precisely flown aircraft like commercial airliners, the exact moment when you throttle back and begin your descent is displayed on navigational screens as T/D, or top of descent. In more complex procedures, those of you who fly flight simulators may recognize this vertical navigation profile screen available on some aircraft. But what did we do before computers were in the cockpit? We had rules of thumb, which can also apply to general aviation aircraft. For instance, the one that I remember to use when I don't have a GPS available is to give yourself 3 nautical miles for every 1,000 feet that you want to lose, which equates to a comfortable 700 feet per minute at 125 knots. One of the best things I ever did for my flight training was learning how to use my Garmin GNS 430 WAS really well, which you see me do in plenty of my videos. It can be the only resource you need in the cockpit, or a distracting annoyance. That part is up to you. The secret to knowing your top of descent really accurately is simply programming in your preferred descent rate into your GPS one time. Just set it and forget it. If you have a Garmin brand GPS, then turn to the last navigation page by turning the knob all the way to the right, and you'll see that you can define a VNAV profile. I like to set it to 3 nautical miles away from my waypoint and 1,000 feet above before my destination. That way I can have time to size up a traffic pattern or contact tower when on the approach. After you've done this, you can find the required vertical speed to reach the waypoint on this page, which itself can be really helpful. And when you're back on the navigational page, you get a message when you're approaching top of descent. At the end of your descent, it should say when you're approaching your target altitude. And if we check, yep, we're about 3 miles out right here. Next, I want to tell you guys how I learned so much about my GPS during my flight training, and how to get this great imagery to use in your videos. If you go to your GPS manufacturer's website, you'll find that many of them supply trainers or simulators for you to run on your computer that perfectly mimic the real-life GPS. There are also packages for flight simulators that insert the GPS right into your favorite aircraft. In my case, I purchased Reality XP for Flight Simulator X and installed it on my Warrior just like it is in the real plane. For those of you learning to fly with a flight simulator, I hope you'll stay tuned to this channel, and in the next week or so I'll bring you an editorial on what I think are some of the most important things going on in the flight simulator industry right now. It should be a really eye-opening video, and I, for one, am very excited. There will also be some major updates on the autonomous cargo aircraft project, both of which will be linked at the end of this video. That's it for today on the Friendly Skies, folks. Until next time, squawk VFR and have fun.